week on the Analog Circle podcast. Information about The Witcher 1 Remake and The Witcher 3's alleged third DLC has some pretty interesting details that have surfaced. Stellar Blade could be coming to Xbox and Nintendo, according to Shift Up. Oh, that should be interesting. PlayStation is starting a rental service where you will be able to rent your PlayStation 5. What in the world are we coming to? We're 6 years in and they're renting PlayStation 5 is ridiculous. We're going to discuss it. And Resident Evil 5 is coming to current consoles. We're talking about Xbox and PlayStation, allegedly. I'm a little shaky on that story, but we'll definitely talk about it. All of these stories can be found here and more in episode 273 of the Analog Circle podcast. I am your host, Kiaun Mitchell, and welcome to the show. Come on in, sit down and relax, because we're going to have a great conversation today. And if you're traveling, hopefully we can accompany you to your destination. Now, as always, if you want to be a part of listener feedback, you can do it two different ways. You can either call in at 667-284-9057 and let your voice be heard, or you can email the show, and the email address is simply the Analog Circle Podcast at gmail.com. And speaking of listener feedback, we got a little bit of it from Mr. Brother Cody Clark. Shout out to you. So without further ado, my brother, let's get into your email. Now, the title of Mr. Cody Clark's email is, if you guys weren't familiar, last week I asked you guys, do you have remake fatigue? So this is what Cody is actually responding to that question. He says, and the name of his email is, remaster me this. Oh, this brother with the Batman. That ain't Batman. I guess it is a Batman reference with the, riddle me. Anyway, he says, bad, cash grab. Oh, man, Cody, what you on this week? He says, hey, Keys, I've been done with remasters since they first started. Good gosh, this brother said they ain't like them since they came out the gate. He said, I will say old school Final Fantasy 1, sure. When you go from like OG NES to like the Super NES or Game Boy Advance, sure. So I see that, golly, Cody, you talking about from the 80s, brother, into the early 90s for remakes? God, dog, man. He continues. Let me continue with your email, Cody. He says Final Fantasy 7, 7X12, or whatever the new version is. Nah, screw that. I didn't like Final Fantasy 7 back in the day. God, dog. Sheesh. This brother said I was never a fan. Now, to be fair, Cody, I got to admit something. I wasn't the biggest Final Fantasy VII fan either. When I first got the game, I was not a fan of turn-based combat. That's why I stayed away from Phantasy Star. That's why I stayed away from Shining Force, I believe it was called, back on the Genesis back in the day. I didn't want anything to do with any of those games, and the previous Final Fantasy games, I didn't want anything to do with them because they were turn-based. Definitely not my kind of gameplay style. But as I played through Final Fantasy VII, I'm telling you, Cody, it was the graphics. Those graphics hooked me, brother. I had never seen anything like it before. I had never played anything like it before. And I'm going to tell you that story, when Cloud was going through his migraines and his headaches, and Joker was having a doggone a fallout and whatnot because of all of the stress that was on his mind, man, it was intriguing to me. So over time, the game actually grew on me. But Cody said, darn all that, I didn't give a doggone about none of it. But I hear you, brother. He continues. He says, the legendary Mass Effect remake, it didn't feel any diff. I played it for like 4 hours and then went back to EverQuest. I actually kind of agree with you on that. They didn't really do too much. I think they added all of the DLC. I think that was the biggest thing that they did with that. But as far as graphics and performance goes, I don't think they really did too much with that. He said remakes are for game studios that don't have any active creative talent to make new stuff. Remakes are for studios that have no forward-facing vision. Whoa, Cody, hold on, brother. God, dog, man. Man, ease down the weapon, brother. Wait a minute. God, dog. This brother's firing on everybody. Wait a minute. Cease fire, brother. Gee whiz. Hold on, Cody. Now, wait a minute, brother. You mean to tell me that any studio in your mind, in your opinion, that does a remake isn't that talented, doesn't have any forward-facing ideas or anything like that? Oh, man. Wait a minute, Cody. Now, I know this is not a good example because I know that's all these jokers have made over this whole generation has been remakes and remasters. But Naughty Dog, Cody, they're not forward-thinking or facing. Naughty Dog is one of the most top-tier studios in the industry. And they're working on I'm all tongue-tied, working on Intergalactic, which seems like it's something completely out of their wheelhouse. It doesn't seem to be anything like Uncharted, doesn't seem to be anything like The Last of Us. Even The Last of Us and Uncharted are different games. So I don't know if I can give you that one, Cody. Even thinking about more recently, Capcom. Now we know they have been the remake kings out of everybody. Resident Evil 2. Matter of fact, we're going to talk about Resident Evil a little later on in the show. But we even know that they have had a ton of remakes. And they just brought out, well, they haven't brought it out officially yet, but it is coming. They have that game, good grief, what's the name of it? It's the demo. The demo was up. Pragmata. They have Pragmata. That is completely different from any kind of gameplay that I've ever played in a Capcom game. And these jokers have been at this, well, maybe not remakes, but reproducing the same kind of content over and over again with just a spin on it. We're talking about Street Fighter, then you had Street Fighter Alpha, then you had Street Fighter Turbo, then you had Super Street Fighter. It's like they just kept on remixing the same thing over and over again. But yet, here we are today, and they have a game like Pragmata coming out. I don't know if I can give you that one, Cody. I just don't know if I can, my brother. But we can respectfully agree to disagree on that one. But let me move on with your email, Cody. He says I don't support Sony because of their greedy closed guard. Man, let me slow down a little bit. Hold on. I'm too excited. He says, I don't support Sony because of their greedy, closed garden world and mid-tier game. Oh, man, come on. Come on, brother. Brother, are you mid-tier? Mid-tier, Cody.
Move this man.
Man, Cody, you got to be kidding me. Mid-tier. These jokers are up for Game of the Year almost every time they drop an exclusive. Oh, Cody. Oh, man, brother. You have hurt me, brother. Oh, I am severely wounded right now. Mid-tier. Oh, Cody. You know what? I can't even say nothing more. Spider-Man, God of War Ragnarok, The Last of Us Part 2. Doggone. Oh, man. Man, I'm going to tell you something, Cody. Man, you know how to push a button, brother. You know how to push a button. Man, oh, man, let me continue with your email, brother. He says, I don't support Microsoft because they gave up on their games and went full AI. Hey, brother, hey, that's one you got right there. I'm 100% in agreement with you on that. How the world you going to give up the Ghost and you got all of these games in your back pocket? Why are you sharing them with PlayStation and Nintendo? Let me continue. I agree with you on that one, brother. Great point. Great point. And I know some people are going to say because you're biased, because you don't like Xbox. And I'm be honest with you. You just might be right. You might be correct. But I'm going to continue with your email, Cody. We're almost at the end. He says, I don't support Nintendo because they have like 12 games they love, but they sue people who who show love to their games. Yeah, Nintendo need to ease up a little bit, but they're the bully of the industry, man. I can't stand Nintendo either. Their practices. Oh, we got to talk about them too, Cody, man. With them in this pricing situation they got going on, Nintendo is just going bonkers. Absolutely ridiculous with a lot of their practices and things that they do. Let me continue here, Cody. He says, if you are not maintaining an old game or an indie studio, you are going to be screwed over by Ubisoft or Activision or whatever. He says, plus, they are all using the freaking Unreal Engine 5, the Unreal 5 engine, so it's all the same game with different rules set. Now, wait a minute, brother. God, dog, why you have to talk about UE5 like that, Cody? You know how much I enjoy that doggone engine, brother. I think UE5 makes some of the most beautiful looking games, brother. Not beautiful, beautiful looking games out there, man. But I do get your point, Cody. After so many games are using the same engine, it's only so many different games that can come out that can actually differentiate themselves from each other if they're all using the same engine. So I do understand what you're saying to a certain point. But you still have games out there that use the RE engine. You got games out there that are still using the Decima engine. I mean, Death Stranding, what is it? Man, why is this crackling? Can y'all hear this crackling? I'm sorry, the audio, something's going on with the audio, but we're going to continue on. But yeah, it's so many other different, man, that crackling is really tearing me up. It's so many different engines out there, but yeah, the most popular one does seem to be Unreal Engine 5. And I mean, I know that can get old and kind of long in the tooth, but as long as the games are coming out and they look great, Cody, and they play well, they got great stories, just a great gameplay. I think that, for me, I can't speak for you, Cody. I think that I can live with it for a while longer because some of these games coming out amazing looking. Did you see the second Kena? The new kid, that's all. We're going to get there. This is going to be a bit of a longer episode, folks, if you haven't realized. But let me finish off with your email here, Cody. He says, here is hoping to new Witcher. Oh, we got some Witcher news for you, brother. And Cyberpunk do not suck. Man, Cody, shout out to you. Matter of fact, hold on. I think you sent me one more email. This was a short one. It says, also, the title of this email is also Game Time. He says, also, for the first time in a long time, my new instance of Cyberpunk 2077 hard crashed on me in the middle of a travel scene and screwed up my new playthrough. LOL. Poor, sad Cody. I got to get that game on the PlayStation 5. I had it on the Xbox One. I thought it was a great game, even though it had bad frame rates. I couldn't play it today. But back then, when it first came out, I thought it was a pretty good game, so I got to get up on that one. But Cody, as always, my brother, thank you so much for tuning in. I truly, truly appreciate it. Shout out to you, my brother. I messed that up. Y'all heard it. All right, y'all. So, we got to keep this train moving, even though we ain't in the rumors right now. But I want to ask you guys another question for the week. And this question is, should games become smaller to shorten dev cycles? And this question, I can't take credit for it. I believe this came from Sucker Punch, one of their directors. He was talking about maybe shortening games. That way the development cycles aren't as long. 6 to 7 years shrinks down to 2 to 3 years. Kind of on the same lines. I'm guessing he was probably putting it in the perspective of maybe like Spider-Man Miles Morales, which to me, that game did not feel like DLC. It felt like a completely, totally different gaming experience, a whole different story, whole new set of characters, but it still looked beautiful. That was one of the first games that I played on the PlayStation 5, and I was floored at some of the scenes in the game. The graphical fidelity was amazing. So to me, being a person 47 years old, truck driver out here, driving, working most days, I am not opposed to developers actually making smaller gaming experiences. I would be okay with a 12 to 15 hour experience. When I played Mafia, the Old Country, I got through that game in a couple of days versus a couple of weeks. It didn't overstay its welcome. It gave me just what I needed, which was the story, gameplay, lot of fun, and I was out of there. I don't think it's anything wrong with that. And I will give Hangar 13, and I guess since they're under the same banner as Rockstar, Take-Two, I'll give them credit as well as for them not making the game a full-priced game either. So I am okay with those kind of gaming experiences. I don't need a game to be 35 hours, 50 hours, 70 hours. I don't need it. And I do believe, and you guys could definitely debate me, I want to hear from you guys, I don't think most people are playing games for that long. It's an unfortunate truth. But a lot of people today, their attention span isn't as long as it used to be. And I will include myself in that. A game has to be stellar for me to put 35 and 45 hours into it. There has to be a great game. The last game I believe I did that in was Days Gone Remastered, which was phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Held my attention. The story just kept getting better and better. Gameplay was great. Graphics were great. Loading times were really great considering what it was on PlayStation 4. So I do believe that it is a market. It is a big market for smaller titles that don't have to compromise their graphics either. When I'm talking about a smaller game, I'm just saying that it doesn't take a lifetime to beat. You're in and you're out. And that way we continue to get more games. We haven't seen anything again from Naughty Dog this generation. We haven't seen anything. I just mentioned their game. Sony Bend hasn't been around. Sucker Punch has, with Ghost of Yote. But a lot of studios are missing. Cory Barlog, we haven't heard anything from him. And Sony Santa Monica, oh my gosh, man, I got to talk about those jokers. Oh, my gosh. We'll get there. But, again, just to shorten this, I don't see anything wrong with devs doing that. Shorter dev cycle for a smaller gaming experience, I am all for it. Now, the question I know most people are going to ask is, should a game that is 12 to 15 hours be full priced? Even though it may have all of the bells and whistles and the graphical fidelity and things of that nature, I don't think you need to make it full price. You have a game like Reanimal, which, shucks, man, doggone Best Buy, that joke is delayed. I bought the physical copy of it. It was supposed to be here today, and it's delayed, until tomorrow or maybe even Friday. So to see what happens with that. But you have games that are coming out looking so much better today. These AA games are doggone near looking like AAA to a certain degree. So I do believe that there is a middle ground for games to be 12 to 15 hours and have a big audience that would be there for them and know that the next game is coming in a very short amount of time, 2 to 3 years. We got we'll be talking about them in a little bit, Shift Up. The Stellar Blade guys, they already got something coming up, in the future. And Stellar Blade is about 2 years old? And they're talking about they got something new coming up in the pipe that's going to possibly, I think, actually be the sequel to Stellar Blade. So I do believe that it is a market for it. But I definitely want to hear from you guys. Again, the question is, should games become smaller to shorten dev cycles? And that would save a lot of money too. Because we know that these budgets for these games are getting out of control. And I understand you guys will probably say, well, that's not my concern. Why should I care? You're absolutely right. But when a game doesn't hit, and it's one of your favorite studios that was behind it, and because that game didn't get the numbers that they needed it to, and that studio has to shut down, we all lose. So if they can make it a smaller game, a smaller experience, but still pack all of the bells and whistles into a shorter experience, I think it would be great. Not everything has to be Titanic and The Godfather in order for it to be a great movie. That's all I'm saying. I believe that for gaming as well. But I would love to hear from you guys. Call in at 667-284-9057 to be a part of the conversation, or email the show at the Analog Circle Podcast at gmail.com. Now, with that being said, guys, let's go ahead and let's get into what we all come here for. And that is the gaming news that went down. So, matter of fact, before we even get into the stuff that I have jotted down notes on right here, I want to talk about Nintendo actually talking about they may have to raise their price. Now, I didn't write this down, but they said that the Nintendo Switch 2's price could be going up this year because of RAM, because of all of these other situations. Matter of fact, I don't want to sound just too crazy and just out of the loop. Let me pull this thing up real quick. So here it is. Hold on. There it is right here. So yeah, they were talking about Sony pushing back the PlayStation 6 to 2027, maybe 2028. 2028 to 2029, which I don't have a problem with because of the RAM and, technology being so expensive, the SSDs, all of the different components. But here it is right here. And this article is from WCCF Tech. Now, keep in mind, I didn't write this down, so I'm kind of breezing through the article as we go. But basically, here it is. It says, back in November, Nintendo President Shintaro Furukawa revealed that the Nintendo Switch 2 price was expected to remain stable in the immediate future unless, quote, significant changes in external factors such as a shift in tariffs, assumptions, or other unexpected events, end of quote. He said, still, this is unfortunate and an unfortunate turn of events that will eventually price many gamers out of current generation systems. So yes, it is a big possibility that they will be going up in price. And this is when I have to question, because here we are in year 6. PlayStation 5 is still, it's not at that $200 to $300 mark where most consumers will feel comfortable jumping in. Here it is. The Nintendo Switch is at what, $450 to $500, if I'm not mistaken. And it's about to go up again. So what does that mean? The regular standard base price could be $500. And if you want to get the pack-in game or whatever the case may be, even though I think that was for a limited time, it's going to go up to $550. I'm like, man, this is why I asked the question. We already know what type of time Xbox is on right now. These jokers charging $7,000 for a console. I mean, not for real, but They have a high price point for their consoles. And that's why I have to ask the question, is a gaming crash coming? Now, I know that a lot of people would say, that's a little too far, Kiaun. I don't think a gaming crash is going to happen. A lot of people have these consoles. I get it. I understand that. But when you're pricing yourself outside of the market where only a certain demographic of people are able to get your hardware, then you're appealing to a market that might not be as sustainable as the consumer that we would call a casual getting the console. Yes, us hardcore gamers are always going to be there. We're going to make sure that we support most of us from day one. But when you do the numbers, we're the minority. As much money as we spend, as much as we rep the brand that we enjoy or the games that we enjoy and we go out there and buy them, we are the minority. So if you have a minority set of people predominantly participating and spending the money while the bigger consumer base, which is the casuals, sit on the sideline, how is that trickle-down effect really going to how is that going to affect gaming in the long run? I'm just asking. Not a question of the week, but I would love to get you guys dialogue on this. Nintendo is bugging, and I get it. It's the tariffs. It's the economy. And we're talking about in this economy, God, dog. Stuff is terrible, man. Stuff is terrible. So we'll see, man. We'll see what Nintendo does. Nintendo could be raising it to $500 coming in the door to $550 for their current generation hardware. This is just bananas. God, dog. Anyway, y'all, let's go ahead, man. Let's see if I can get us out of here in the next half hour. Let's see how we can make this shake. Let's get into the official first story for the week. And I got this from Digital Trends. So this service. Oh, no. I jumped the gun. Hold on. Let me get back to my original story. Hold on. Let me flip back. All right. No, this story actually comes from Vice.com. Now this is the thing. Now that we have, oh, man, I can't jump into that yet. God, dog, and I got to talk about PlayStation. Oh, man, did y'all see that state of play? God, dog. Oh, shucks. Oh, that state of play was crazy. Oh, that state of play was bonkers. Man, when they opened up, and yeah, this episode going to be over an hour long. I ain't going to be able to hold it. I can't. That show was so dope. When they first started the show off with Keena, I know it's not Bridge of Spirits, and I know it's not called Keena 2. I can't remember the name. But when they started it off with Keena, oh my gosh, man. Y'all don't understand. I was literally screaming in my truck. Because I saw this up in Buffalo, New York, when I was up there. I was so stunned, so excited. I said, you got to be kidding me. Ember Lab's been working. These brothers been working. Have you seen the graphical prowess of this Keena game? And it's coming out this year. Oh, my gosh. Man, oh, man. I was so excited. After that, I was like, they can't do no wrong. I'm hooked. This game looks amazing. It looks bigger. It looks better graphically. Looks like they got a bigger budget. I mean, Ember Labs was in their bag with Keena Bridge of Spirits. So I can't imagine what these guys are going to be able to do with this sequel. I saw that. It was over for me. It was over. Amazing. Another game that I saw, excuse me, guys, which really got my attention was the John Wick game. Now, y'all might know that I've been waiting on this game called Spine. Spine looks incredible. It's the gun fu and all of that stuff with the guns and everything, almost like John Wick inspired. So I've been waiting on that game for a long time, but these jokers will not give a release date. But shout out to them. I'm hoping maybe it'll be sometime this year. So when I saw John Wick, I said, oh man, that's it. I've been waiting on like a Max Payne-esque kind of game to actually hit the market. So that caught my attention. The Konami block itself, all of the things they talked about on the Konami side of things, Metal Gear Solid 4, Guns of the Patriots actually coming to the PlayStation 5. God, man, I was so excited about that. Very excited. That game has been captive on the PlayStation 3. It has been held captive. So for them to have that coming out, then the new Castlevania, I ain't even really been into Castlevania like that. But just seeing how good that game looked, I thought Konami, they really came out, man. Silent Hill was there. I'm not into Silent Hill at all, but I just thought it was a great showing of them seeming like they're actually getting things on point. I mean, I don't know where Konami has been these last couple of years, but it seems like, matter of fact, a game that you guys might not know that they actually did, they were behind as far as like publishing it was, oh man, it was a game that I really, really enjoyed. Just needed a little bit more polish with the gameplay. Deliver it at all costs. Deliver at all costs was a solid first outing for a studio, and the destruction was next level, which was the thing that really, really captivated me about the game. Let me make sure that is by Capcom, though. I don't want to give misinformation, but I just thought, man, Capcom is finally back on the scene. They're, not really messing with they probably are still dealing with the gambling, slots, and all of that stuff. But, it seems like they're really kind of back on focus when it comes to gaming. Let me see. Was Deliver at All Costs the video game published by Konami? I just want to make sure. Let's see.
But you're likely thinking of **, Deliver at All Costs. Yes, that game is published by Konami and was developed by the Swedish indie studio Far Out Games. Since you were looking...
Just wanted to make sure. Yeah, so Konami has been on the scene, but they've been gone, haven't really been concentrating on Metal Gear like that. Well, even though Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater Remake did just come out last year, so I can't say that. But just overall, I thought that them being there was great. Then you had, of course, the big one everybody is going to talk about. And I don't want to get too long-winded with this, but the God of War remakes, 1, 2, and 3 being remakes. Man, Cody, I'm sorry, brother. Man, they got me hook, line, and sinker. Because for me, though, you guys know I haven't played the first God of War or the second one. I did play the third one on the PlayStation 4, and I thought it was fantastic. So if you're telling me you're going to remake the other two and the third one, man, I gotta be there. That was like the biggest announcement ever. We had been hearing about it for a while, and they finally showed it on the stage. And then I will say, I will say that they definitely dropped the ball on a brother when they showed off that new side-scrolling God of War. My God.
Y'all killing me with this.
I said, whoa. Oh, whoa, wait a minute. Now, Sony Santa Monica, I know you didn't just greenlight this. You greenlit this with side-scrolling games that look like, and then granted, I ain't gonna talk too slick because I haven't bought it, but I did play it. That Prince of Persia game, what was it, the Lost Crown, I believe. When you got side-scrollers that look like that, You come to, and that ain't even the only example. You got a couple of them that have come out that have looked fantastic. Something like Shinobi, Art of Vengeance, that comes out looking like it does, and you show up with that. You show up with God of War. Look, man, oh my gosh, that was just disrespectful. Disrespectful. I said, come on, Sony Santa Monica. I refuse to buy that. That game looked like a Flash game. Flash. Cell phone, brother. Doggone, I'm talking 16-bit graphics. Joker was horrible looking. Up there, man, the job. Man, how many of y'all picked this game up? I'm sad for you. If you picked this game up, that was terrible. That game should have been free. And then you give away something like, oh, man. You give away something like Valhalla as free DLC, but you charge for this side-scrolling mother-love. Man, come on, man. Come on, man. Oh, my goodness. Definitely the lowest part of the doggone show. The lowest. Yeah, T.C. Carson, you was there. You was voice acting and all that good stuff, brother. And that's all cool. But that was terrible. Absolutely terrible. But overall, though, I got to tell you, man, I gave the show, man, good gosh, I had to give that show like an 8.5. That Joker was absolutely stunning. Best state of play I have ever seen. I mean, it was just game after game after game after game. I really, really enjoyed it. And for the sake of time, I don't want to get too much more long-winded with it, but it was a really, really, really solid show. I can't imagine what they're going to show over the summer. I mean, we know that Wolverine is next. Wolverine is coming up in the spring. Stuff is looking good. It's looking exciting. But anyway, let's go ahead now and let's officially get into the first story for the week that I got from Vice.com. So, we actually have some Resident Evil 9 news. So according to an unofficial PlayStation Game Size account, Requiem will require 72.88 gigabytes of hard drive space, which is 14 gigabytes bigger in size than Resident Evil 4 Remake. Now, the thing is, good gosh, y'all need a lot of hard drive space. It's times like this. I'm happy that I have a 4 terabyte hard drive inside of my PlayStation 5 because this is absolutely bonkers. 72.88 gigabytes this game is going to take. Now, the thing is if you want to start downloading it, you'll be able to pre-install it on February 25th. My gosh, that's huge. Man, let me ask y'all, how many of y'all actually just bit the bullet and said, you know what, I'm tired of deleting off my games. I'm tired of having to see if the game will fit, and then it doesn't fit, and it says you got to delete some stuff off, or you're deleting your videos and things of that nature. How many of y'all just bit the bullet and said, the heck with this, man? I'm going to just get this internal hard drive, a 2 terabyte, 1 terabyte, 4 terabyte hard drive. That way I don't have to worry about a doggone thing for the rest of the generation. Because I'm going to tell you, as a person that has the 4 terabyte hard drive, it is a bit of a, how can I say, it is a bit of a, I don't know how to put it. It kind of puts your mind at ease when it comes to buying games where it's like, I don't have to worry about deleting that off, taking that off, getting that off, then having to take a chance of maybe wanting to play it again and having to put it back onto the console. It is a wonderful, wonderful feeling when you're like, I'll pick up that, get that, get that, get that. And I don't have to worry about deleting a doggone thing. I'm curious to know how many of y'all bit the bullet on that. Let's move on, into the next story that I got from IGN. Now, this is, hold on. Before we move any further, Resident Evil 9 Requiem, just to give you guys a heads up, there are copies out in the wild. Stores have been selling it early. So I would say kind of walk around the internet streets, gaming streets per se, with a little bit of caution. Because there could be people, you know how some people are, oh man, they're terrible, they're horrible. They want to tell you the story and mess it up for everybody because they're miserable. So I would just say, definitely watch yourselves. If you don't want the story ruined, don't go anywhere where you think it could possibly happen, because I know, like any gamer out there, you want to really experience the story in real time, especially if it's a game you're looking forward to, and not be tipped off about any story plots or twists or different characters or anything like that. Maybe even surprise appearances, things of that nature. So just tread with caution out there. Let's go ahead, though, guys, and let's get into the next story that I got from IGN. So this is in quick news. Developer Bloober Team revealed their next project. And their next project is going to be Layers of Fear 3. Now, I got to say, I'm not familiar with this franchise, but it's said, excuse me, guys, it is said to be a psychological horror series, so for now, that's the game they're going to be working on, but there is no launch window. I'm not sure if any of you guys are familiar with this franchise. I would like to know if this is something that you guys are looking forward to. I can't say that I am, because again, I'm not familiar with the franchise. So this will probably be a pass for me, but what about you? Let's get into the next story from Comic Book. That's where I got this one from. So some of y'all may remember back in 2022, this is interesting, CD Projekt Red announced that they were making a remake of the original Witcher. But since then, nothing has really been said about the project. But according to a new report, if it is in fact accurate, I do want to put that out there, we may have a timeline when the title will release. So according to Noble Securities, which they are a Polish investment company that covers their stocks, CD Projekt Red that is, they're saying that the remake is set to release in 2028. And reports say the game was supposed to release in 2027, but was delayed a year. Now, Fool's Theory is also assisting with The Witcher 4, which led the team to fall behind on The Witcher 1 remake. So, if this game is actually coming out in 2028, I'm taking it that we probably won't really see anything on this year. If we do, maybe it'll be a small trailer, something like a coming soon type of situation where The Witcher 1 is being worked on. But, you never know. These guys might be further along than maybe we're guessing. And maybe we do see something from CD Projekt Red later on this year. It would be very, very nice, because I've never played The Witcher 1 or Witcher 2 games. So if they're remaking the first one, which I heard is nothing like the third one, if they could do something along the lines of updating the controls and making it more of a modern kind of feel, I think that this would do wonders for the franchise, being able to have a whole new set of players like myself that were introduced to The Witcher when The Witcher 3 came out, being that first experience. So hopefully these guys over there at Fool's Theory will be able to pull this off, and maybe we see something this year. Maybe it looks real good and it captivates a lot of us gamers to give it a shot for the first time. So again, nothing coming out next year, but 2028 is allegedly when this game will release. Let's get into the next story that I got from IXBT. So, oh man, this one is a little iffy right here. So I'm not going to put a lot of stock into this next story. But according to the game ratings for Xbox Series on the ESRB website, in-game purchases appeared for Resident Evil 5. Now, it was pointed out that the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One versions included all add-ons and had no microtransactions. So when you have something being rated from the ESRB, most of the time, it is a shoo-in that it's happening. And because the previous versions, PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, already came with the add-on stuff, the add-on purchases, then it really leads to the question, is Resident Evil 5 really coming to current generation? Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be a remake. I'm not sure. It's a bit iffy because the rabbit hole goes just slightly deeper. I'm not trying to put 100 on 10, but it does go a little bit deeper because it was pointed out that the voice actress who played Shiva, her name is Eva Ladare, she put a message on X that said, and I quote, "several cool things," end of quote, in honor of the 30th anniversary of the series, and then used the hashtag, quote, Resident Evil 5, end of quote. So maybe, just maybe, it could be a situation, again, with the ESRB rating this for the Xbox Series. That's a clear, dead giveaway that it is current generation hardware that this is going to be available for. So maybe, not trying to blow this thing out of proportion. Maybe it's a situation where Capcom is allowing the game to actually make its debut eventually on the Xbox Series and the PlayStation 5. And as a result, once you buy the game, you can actually get some of these add-ons to buy to go along with it. So we'll see what happens with this. Of course, the voice actors, they're not always 100% accurate on the things that they say. Yes, it is very true that sometimes they do have inside knowledge of different things that are going on. And sometimes it spews a little bit early. I think that happened earlier this week with one rock band that I can't remember their name, when they had actually said that they were working on music on Grand Theft Auto 6. It kind of just came out in the conversation. So again, sometimes these people that are working on the inside might not be on the same page as, the developer and the publisher when it comes to certain information being put out. So I would again say just kind of don't get too excited about this being a remake or anything like that. I think just based off of what it looks like, it's probably just going to be a port that you'll be able to get on the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series. So we'll have to wait and see. I believe she said that she was pointing to something actually happening sometime in March when it comes to this. So maybe we should keep our eyes out for next month and see what happens. But let's get into the next story that I got from IGN. So I know that Xbox players and Nintendo Switch owners, y'all have never got a chance to play Stellar Blade, which I will say, my gosh, Stellar Blade is a beautiful, beautiful game. I mean, Shift Up, they did a doggone good job. I own the game. I have it. Have I played the full version? No, I have not played.
Move this man!
I don't. Listen, I got a lot of games on the back burner. I'm getting there. I haven't played the game in its full entirety, but I have played the demo, though. I played the demo, and it was beautiful. It was amazing. That's what made me want to buy the game. So I'm telling y'all that it's a wonderful experience. But unfortunately, Xbox fans and Nintendo fans have never had a chance to experience such a game as Stellar Blade. Well, that could be changing very soon, because during a recent financial report, it was said that the team was, quote, reviewing platform expansion beyond PS5 and PC to broaden audience reach. Now, this approach is expected to both introduce the title to new players and gradually build anticipation for the next chapter in the series. End of quote. So, that pretty much means that this game could be going over to Xbox and Nintendo Switch too. And what might the reason be? You know what the reason is.
Show me the money.
That's what it's about! Show him the doggone money. Look, PlayStation, we already have come to the end of our contract with you. You were great to us. I'm sure we were great to you. I'm sure we sold a nice amount of copies, which they did. I think they sold over 1 million copies on the PlayStation 5. Look, this is Shift Up. We have already come to an ending of our contract. Now, we're going to have to go out here and we're going to have to see about getting into some other people's homes on their platforms to get them excited about our franchise and to maybe drum up some extra eyes that are going to be possibly on our next project. So, yeah, we're going over to more blue water seas over to Nintendo and the Xbox. And the thing is that Shift Up also said this. They said, and I quote, "We expect 2026 to be a year in which more users experience the existing title." So that means that sometime this year, possibly, these guys will be on your platform. So just stay tuned and we'll see what happens. But let's go ahead, guys, and let's get into the next story. Now, this is another quick story. Man, Stellar Blade, I'm telling you, if you get a chance, pick that game up. It is really, really good. It's a beautiful looking game. Unreal Engine, Cody. Unreal Engine, my brother. Hold on, let me make sure. Is it Unreal Engine, y'all? Y'all know I'm such a doggone fan of Unreal Engine. Oh, I'm so terrible with that stuff. Hold on. Is Stellar Blade made in Unreal Engine? No, that's not it. No. Was the video game Stellar Blade made with the Unreal Engine? Because y'all know I'm a fan.
Yes, Stellar Blade was made with Unreal Engine 4, specifically version 4.26.
That's all you got to say. I'm telling you, Cody, them games be looking so nice, brother. Oh, man. I guarantee you, Kena Bridge of Spirits is probably made with the Unreal Engine 2. But I digress. Shout out to you, Cody. I can't get enough of that engine, man. I can't get enough. But let's go ahead, though, and let's get into the next story. Now, this is quick news. So, this is about Assassin's Creed Shadows. So, this game just got the 1.1.8 title update that gives you a manual jump ability. Seasons no longer transition when swapping characters. Crash issues have been fixed when starting a new game plus, etc. I mean, if you want to see the full list, because it is a laundry list of fixes that they have done to this game, all you got to do is go over to Ubisoft.com, and they got, a hefty list of improvements that they have done to Assassin's Creed Shadows. And I'm going to tell you this, excuse me, it's times like this when you say to yourself, you're glad you might have just held off and not jumped in. I mean, it had to be like 30 different fixes that they have done for this game. Free-flowing combat, something to do with your weapons, and some stuff being debugged, which was a problem with people waiting in some part of a level. It was so many things. I can't even remember half of the stuff. But just know you got that manual jump button. I can't believe, man, hold on. God, dog, that just sunk in. Who thought it was a good idea to make an Assassin's Creed game without a jump button? What? What the world? Man, that's what Assassin's Creed is about. Traversal. Man, listen, bro. Star Wars Outlaws, y'all say they dropped the ball on that. Man, I don't remember Star Wars having this many doggone fixes, but, you know, it is what it is. But let's go ahead, though, guys, and let's get into a story that I got from Digital Trends. So this service, oh, boy, the service is actually starting in the UK for now, where Sony will they're going to rent you a PlayStation 5 for your leisure. So PlayStation UK wrote this on X. They said, quote, join your friends on PlayStation 5 with Flex. Lease a PlayStation 5 Digital Edition console starting at £9.95 per month for a limited time only. End of quote. So with that being said, it looks like PlayStation, they've partnered with a company called Raylo that offers leasing subscriptions and leasing subscriptions for consumers. So you can lease, now this is how long you can lease the PlayStation 5 for. You can go for a 12-month, 24 months, or 36 months. So this is going to be the cost for to rent a digital PlayStation 5 at 825 gigabytes. That's going to cost you €9.95. If you get up to the 1 terabyte physical PlayStation 5, that's going to run you €11.59. You get up to the 2 terabyte. This one is kind of expensive. You got €16.99 to pay for that. Now, the 825 gigabyte with 2 DualSense controllers, that's going to run you €10.99. And the 10 terabyte 2 controller bundle, which is the physical PlayStation 5 that takes the discs, that's going to run you at €12.49 a month. Now they even took it down to where you can even rent the PlayStation Portal. These jokers said, if you don't want the PlayStation 5, get the doggone Portal. We'll send that over to you for €7.49 a month. Now, the thing is about this, Raylo did say that they will have to do a soft credit check when it comes to this. Now, I will say, again, this is not over in the States. We know that some of these things, they take place over in other places, other parts of the world as a test bed to see how it goes off. And I will say, PlayStation, I am very, very much so let down by this one. This one is horrible. This is terrible. This is where I will give Xbox a ton of credit. And I do mean a heck of a lot of credit. Y'all remember when Xbox was making it so you could actually pay on their console on a monthly basis? They were making it so you would actually own the doggone thing. It was 0 interest. I mean, it was a sweet deal what they were doing. It was like, look, okay, you don't have the money right now. As long as you can pay these payments, eventually you will pay it off and you will own it. This right here, up to 36 months, renting at $9.09, well, not $9, but €9.95 a month for 36 months. You can buy the doggone thing. And here it is, PlayStation, and I get it. Business is business. If you sign up for it, then that means you're okay with it. You're okay with the terms. You're okay with how much it's going to cost, because it is up to you to be the one to say, okay, I sign my name off on it. I'm good with this. But I just sit back and I say, wow, Xbox had the right idea. We want you to get the console. Okay, you can't afford it flat out. Fine. We'll work with you. Not a problem. Monthly basis, as long as you're paying it off, it will eventually be yours. PlayStation is on that joint. You will own nothing and love it. You own nothing and love it. The thing is, again, maybe some people don't want to own a PlayStation 5. Maybe they don't have the money to own a PlayStation 5. Me, I am always of the mindset, own it. Own it. Forget rent. Own it. Because at least you have more say over what happens with it when you own it. Now, granted, I will tell you this. I'm going to tell you a bit of a scam. There's definitely going on when you own your house. Oh, my gosh. Property taxes are freaking ridiculous. The way that they have you paying for these taxes, and they make you feel like, hey, you own the house, though. Man, you don't own a doggone thing. You don't own nothing.
But wait, it gets worse.
It's horrible. You can pay your house off, and you miss a couple of those property tax months. They gonna come and put a lien on your property. That's a BS. But anyway, I digress. Again, I'm still of the mindset, own it. Get the PlayStation 5, get the Switch 2, Xbox Series. Just own it flat out. That way when, at these prices, check this out, at these prices, where these consoles for the first time in gaming history are not dropping in price, but raising in price as the generation goes on. Imagine what you might be able to get for your PlayStation 5 by the time the PS6 comes out. You might be able to get $300 for your joint. Whereas if you were renting it the whole time, you get nothing. You get no residuals, no nothing back. Your money was just flapping in the wind. And I will say that at least when you do own your home, and if things, pray to God they don't, but if things do get bad and you got to move, at least you can sell your house to get some money out of it. So it's not a total loss. You rent, you just got to walk away. So we'll see, man. Anyway, I don't agree with this. I wish they had done it like Xbox did, like Microsoft did. I really liked what Microsoft was putting out there as far as getting the Series X or the Xbox One. I really did like that model. And I wish PlayStation would have done that. But instead, they got you renting these jokers for years to come. And at the end of it, at the end of that 36 months, you get nothing. You return it back, and that's it. Now, I'm not going to say you don't get anything. Let me not be hyperbolic here. I mean, you do get to play the games. You get to experience them. You get to enjoy the PlayStation 5. But once the ride is over, you know, I'm a person that wants to know that if I wanted to, I could get something out of this thing if I needed to. You know, because you never know what the future, you just never know what's going to happen. You know, so anyway, let's move on, though, guys. I got way too long-winded with that. We're almost done, though. We got about 3 more stories to go. So this next story I got from Gaming Bolt. So we just got some God of War numbers. Oh, man, God of War is out here killing it, brother. This is what they doing.
Show me the money.
You know it. You know it. No! Man, these jokers have. Now I want to put this out there. Again, I got this story from Gaming Bolt. But these numbers are coming from the former senior managing producer of art at Sony Santa Monica. His name is Rich Flater. Now, he revealed on his LinkedIn profile that combined both God of War 2018 and Ragnarok earned more than $1.4 billion. God! $1.4 billion! Woo! You know what? I want to do some math here. I want to do some doggone math. What would it take for a game to make let me do that again. Hold on. Here we go. Hold up. Now, let me take that out. Now, we're going to do some math here. Let's do some doggone math. How many copies would it take for a game that sells for $70 to make $1.4 billion? How many copies would they have to sell? Because I got to know. It's analyzing the question.
To reach 1.4 billion IN revenue with a game priced AT70, the math is straightforward on paper, but much more complex in the real world of game publishing. Here is the breakdown of how many copies you would need to sell. 1. The raw math, gross revenue. If you only care about the total amount of money spent by consumers at the digital or physical cash register, total copies, 20 million units. The math, 20 million times $70 equals $1,400,000,000. 2.
Wow.
The real world math, net revenue. On your podcast, this is the more interesting angle. A developer or publisher never actually makes the full $70.
Of course
Platforms
not.
like Sony, PlayStation, Microsoft, Xbox, and Valve, Steam, take a standard 30% cut of every sale. Platform
No. Not in this situation, though, because they own the IP. So they sold 20 million units. 20 million. Golly, that's a lot of copies. Now, hold on. Wait a minute. Wait. Hold on, man. Hold on, man. Now, 20 million. And you had 100 million, over 100 million PlayStation 4s. And I get it. Early days, maybe the PlayStation 5, I say maybe had 15, 18, 20 million. You're talking about 100. I think realistically, you could say 120 million PlayStation 4s and 5s were available where you could buy this game. And it only sold 20 million.
That's stupid. Use your common sense.
I don't know about that. I don't know if that's as impressive as, 20 million. And you got over 100 million consoles out in the world. I don't know. I mean, yes, 1.4 billion is absolutely astronomical to make that off of 2 games, selling 20 million copies. Phenomenal work. But having that big of an install base, and that's how many you sell, I don't know, man. Sometimes I get on Xbox. Sometimes, man, PlayStation fans, I don't know, man. I just don't know. I don't know if we be showing up like we should be with some of these games. Again, like I said, and that goes to my point. The hardcore. The hardcore are the ones that are going to get God of War. Us that love PlayStation. We're the ones that will go out there and buy these games. But even though it sold over 100 million copies, the console itself, us, the hardcore, are that small of a group. That right there, that says it all. Most people, they get Madden, they get 2K, they play Fortnite, they play Call of Duty. We're the ones that really keep the machine going because we're the ones that are going to go out there and we're going to buy a Reanimal. We're going to go out there and buy a Stellar Blade. We're going to get Resident Evil. Now, I don't know, Resident Evil, a little bit more of a better known title, but still, I would still think that more hardcore people go out and buy that versus casuals. I don't know, man. That's why I say I'm just not sure about it not being a crash, a gaming crash, if these consoles can't come down to a price where the average consumer feels comfortable getting it. I don't know, man. 20 million is a big number. 1.4 billion is a way bigger number. But again, when you just count how many consoles are out there that have sold, and that's what you come back with, it's not as impressive. I'm sorry. It's not. It's not as impressive. I would hope that you would be able to do better than that.
Move this man.
Man, listen, I'm just saying, we see Nintendo. Them jokers be doing numbers. That's all I'm saying. 20 million is a win. It's a big win. It's a huge win. But it ain't that big when you're talking about 100 doggone million plus people that own the PlayStation brand. Come on, man. Let's get on into the last story. Is this the final story? Yeah. We got two more stories, and that's going to be it. But in quick news, Xbox console exclusive replaced, which does have a demo up on Steam. I can't believe them jokers with that stuff. These jokers put a game that was shown on PlayStation, on Xbox, where it actually made its debut, and they put the doggone Joker on Steam.
Y'all killing me with this.
Absolutely ridiculous. But that game is going to be delayed until April 14th, 2026. It won't be coming out next month, unfortunately. Now, let's get into the final story that I got from IXBT Games. So, I remember last year it was a rumor that The Witcher 3 would be getting extra DLC. I didn't put too much stock into it, but shockingly, according to a Polish journalist known as, quote, UV, end of quote, he confirmed during a stream that The Witcher 3 would receive a new large-scale story expansion that will also be handled by Fool's Theory, who, of course, we discussed earlier, is remaking the first game, Witcher 1. But it's also being reported that more than 100 developers are working on this game. Now that's a nice amount of staff that are on this game, which pretty good. Now this next part really kind of sold me on the idea that this could be a real project, because UV said this. He said this add-on will be more of a story bridge between the third and fourth game, allowing for a smooth transition to the new saga and close important storylines, with possibly Ciri being at the center of the events. Now, all of this time, like I said, it's been about a good maybe 5 months that we've been hearing about this actually happening, this DLC, so-called DLC, but it was never explained in this kind of way. Again, this gentleman named UV, this Polish journalist, he could be maybe not so right. He could be wrong. But I will say again, his reasoning, how he's actually putting this together, saying that this third DLC is going to be the transition, from 3 to 4, actually making sure that it kind of closes up some of those questions from the previous story, and having Ciri actually take her place in this DLC, transitioning over into The Witcher 4, where she is the main character. She is the protagonist, who we will be playing as. So when you put it in that perspective, it truly does make sense. Now, the other thing is, unfortunately, we haven't heard anything about a release date, a release year, a release window of when this could happen, but at least it does seem like it's still allegedly going to happen, and hopefully it'll happen soon. But we'll see in the near future what happens with this. But guys, that is the end of the gaming news this week. And as always, I want to thank you guys truly truly for being here with me. Thank you guys so very much. Now, as always, before we tie this thing up and put a bow on it, always remember one thing. It is not about the consoles. It is about the games. So until next Wednesday, when we do it again, until then, you guys take care. Be safe out there. Bye-bye.